Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Vijay, welcome to the Equitymaster Investor Hour. This is the first time, incidentally, we are speaking. I've not met you before. I've not had a conversation with you before, except for this
Yeah.
podcast, of course. But I've read about you, and I have always sort of admired the way you've gone about explaining how you do what you do, and I'm very happy for all the success you've had. So today we'll go through this 60-90 minute journey, try to get to know you better, try to understand how you do what you do, and try and sneak away some learnings for the viewers, listeners, and myself, so that we can become better investors and have some success of our own. So to kick off this podcast, if you will, Vijay, tell us a little bit about yourself. And when I'm saying tell us a little bit about yourself, I really mean tell me where you were born, where you grew up, how was the environment at your home. Tell me about your parents, whether they were investors. So I'm just trying to understand where Vijay comes from and what led to him becoming what he's become, which is a very successful investor. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rahul. It's my pleasure to be here on your this wonderful platform and to interact with investors or to share my experiences with investors. So I was born and brought up in Kolkata, and my grandfather was a stockbroker in Kolkata Stock Exchange. So that is how this maybe stock market was in my DNA, but they were basically into broking, and I was never interested in broking and all. So I wanted to do something on my own. So, but anyway, so since childhood, that my passion about the stock market was there since my childhood. Uh, or I can say that. So unfortunately, what happened when I was 14 years of age? So my father died, and I was in class 10. So after a few months of his death, I had to appear for the exam, which I failed. It was a class 10th exam, which I failed. So the education for me was over for the time being. But somebody from my family approached the headmaster of the school, and I'm from Hindi medium, let me tell you, so you can understand from my English. So I have to think twice, then I have to speak. So my mind is working two times. Okay, so somebody from my family approached the headmaster that this was the problem. So he gave me benefit of doubt, and he arranged a re-exam for me, which I somehow passed. But fact was this, that I was not interested into study and all. So, and after that, I somehow did my graduation. Somehow, as I said, that I was not interested, but my focus was into stock market. And since we were in a joint family, so but things were not that rosy. Sometimes joint family is a boon. Sometimes your things go haywire. So that was situation was not that harmonious. So that I realized early in my age that now I have to work little hard, because it is not ki theek hai sab chalta hai family. So from there on, I started focusing on stock market. I have to make my career into this, but not into broking. My grandfather also supported me, but he wanted me to be a broker like him, and was against my doing trading and all. So, but at an age of 19, I think 18 or 19, I officially joined stock market. That means I started going into the ring. So
And this is
that
in
time
Calcutta. This is Calcutta.
in
Calcutta.
Kolkata.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Calcutta.
So So as an assistant member to my grandfather's firm only, I started going into the ring just to feel what is happening around and all. And but he pushed me hard to assist him in broking and talking to the client and doing the transaction for him, which I used to do, but half-heartedly, because I was not interested in calling somebody sir and babu and this and that. I thought I will do something on my own. So maybe after a few days or maybe a few months and all, I switched to trading, and I took his permission and started trading in the market. But that was the only easiest thing which one could have done. And my family was also mediocre. That time brokers were not that rich. So this is how it happened. So initial luck actually favored me. And as beginner's luck, as we call it, So that favored me, and I made money initially. And every time I used to make money, my quantity of trading would rise. Like suppose I started with 100, then again, if I am successful in 100 shares of trading, the next quantity is 500, then 1,000, then 5,000, then
Snowball. The
10,000.
snowball.
Yeah. So my grandfather realized that one day he will make me, put me on road. So yeah, so this is how. So initially I made money, but after that I started losing money. So we
Yeah.
got separated from the family, from the joint family, and but I had nothing else to do. So this is what I continued my trading thing and all, and that was the initial phase
So when
of
you
my.
were so when you were very young, the dinner time conversations were about stock market because there was a broking card in the family, and was it like that?
No, I was actually isolated, let me tell you, because my uncles never liked that I should go for trading and all, because they felt that whatever little bit they have, one day I will blow them off. So
Uh-huh.
there was no conversation as such, and like this modern age, that there is a dinner conversation. It was nothing like this. So everybody used to have their own dinner. That was the
Wow.
structure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So this was
So
the
you were
scene.
saying you had a lot of success in trading, and then you lost some money in trading, and that
Yeah,
led to
initially I was
yeah.
successful maybe for 6 months or a year or so, and after that, then I thought that I'm really invincible. I can do anything in this world. This is what every newcomer, even today, any newcomer comes into the market must be going through the same phase of life, that they think they are invincible, and now they can become millionaire overnight, this and that, and finally the reality comes. So, so, so this was the life. So, but it continued for 10 years,
Do
and
you remember? Do you remember the stocks you were trading? Those, was it the 80s? Did I get that right?
yeah, yeah.
What were
I
the stocks you were trading those days? It'd be interesting.
main the darling of stock market in Kolkata was Hindustan Motors.
Oh
You know,
wow.
yeah. So that was the money liquid traded stock in the stock market. So I used to trade in Hindustan Motor and JK Synthetics, and Balarpur Industries was there at that time, and Grasim. At that time we used to call it Gwalior Rain and Manufacturing Company Limited, Gwalior Rain and Silk Manufacturing Company Limited. That is how these Grasim words you came
Mhm.
into. So Grasim and Kesoram Industries, and
A
like
lot of them are
this.
Birla companies, huh? And Birla is
Ah,
based out of
yeah, yeah,
Calcutta, of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
yeah. Because headquarter was Birla at that point of time, so a lot of, and people were connected with Billaji and or Babu leta hai, Babu
Babuji,
bechta hai,
Babuji.
Babuji. So that was the typical Bengali thing. Yeah, Bengal ka thing. So this is how it happened. So finally, it did not work for me, and I struggled for 10 years. Was hand to mouth,
And this was
which
like This was intraday trading. Like
intraday also, positional also,
positional also.
intraday also, but positional maybe 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or a week. That time,
Okay.
like nowadays, if you are into FNO, then your settlement is T plus one. So that time it was T plus 14. So every 15 days you have to settle your things. So you have ample of time in between. You can, you can, you can, play the market as per your will. So that cushion was there. So that were T plus 14. So that was my experience, which was not very good. I had said this thing on various platforms, so I would like to share with you also. Maybe the listeners are different than other wherever I've spoken to. There was a time, when somehow I got married, because it was very difficult for me to get married. Nobody was willing to give their
Don't
daughter.
marry this trader, huh? Don't marry this trader. Don't marry.
Yeah, yeah. So, so this was the time. So this is how it happened. There was a time when I did not have 14 rupees to buy a milk powder box for my child. So that was also a time during that day. So it's okay. This is a part of life. So
So,
this is how it happened.
so your trading actually came to an end at some point in time.
Yeah,
Uh,
after 10 years of struggle, I realized that it is not my cup of tea. And still I am struggling for 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. So that time expenses were so low, because we were living in one flat, 4 bedroom flat with 21 people were living, and one toilet we were sharing. 22 people were sharing one toilet. So expenses were also so low, so that somehow I survived, as I said. But it did not work for me. So after 10 years, I realized that maybe I'm not cut out for trading. So I looked around and found there were very hardly few investors in Kolkata stock market. Hardly few, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 investors were there. So I used to talk to them. I used to observe them, and I used to analyze them, how they are talking, how they are walking, what they are wearing, and all these things, And then I thought that maybe I should try my luck in investment. And from there, my journey of investment started.
And which year was this?
90. Yeah,
1990.
90. Yeah.
Wow. And you remember the
89,
first
99.
stock? Do you remember the first stock you invested in?
Yeah, first stock, that time I had somehow, at that point of time, I had some 35,000 rupees with me. As I said that I was not bad in trading either, let me tell you, because I used to make money in every trade. But my problem was this, that after making the money in that particular trade, immediately my quantity would rise.
Right.
Phenomenal, like 5 times or 7 times. So even a little bit of losses, I would just square off. So there was a time where I was about to sell jewelry of my mom to pay losses of my trading. So this is how, that time I was in my grandfather's firm. So whatever profit used to come, everything, profit or loss, was in the firm only, not for me, not individually. But there was loss. So my uncle asked my mom to give her jewelry, so that they don't want to pay the losses. The losses was all, I think 30,000, 35,000, I don't remember, but somewhere there only. So there I realized that in trading, stop loss is a must, So I prayed to God and I said, God, please save me. I don't want to sell jewelry of my mom. So next time I will not do trading. So God listened to me and I stopped trading for maybe 5 days or 10 days. But ultimately, again, I came back to the market and started trading. God forgave me for that, So this is how it happened. So then after 10 years, as I said, 10 or 11 years, I switched to investment. Yeah.
And so this was when you were observing the investors at the Kolkata's stock exchange. Those is Calcutta Stock Exchange. And this was also on the eve of probably the Harshad Mehta boom, right? So
and then I came to Mumbai. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, please carry on.
Yeah. So I came to Mumbai in 1989-90. In fact, actually, I came to Mumbai with the help of one of my friends, and he was also in Kolkata, but he shifted to Mumbai 3-4 years in 86 or something like. So with his help, I came to Mumbai. And after, I think Harshad Mehta came in picture in 92 or something. So this is how. So I have seen that. I have gone through that. I have lived that era of Harshad Mehta, euphoria, and all those things. I have lived. I have.
Tell us more about that, because that's also kind of overlaps with the journey from converting from a trader to an investor. How was that experience?
So before that, as I said, that in 1989 or something, at one time I was having some 35,000 rupees, and I bought one company, Punjab Tractor Limited. That time, later on, it
used to be
sold
a blue
to.
chip at one time, if I remember.
Yeah, but it was, yes. So, but very illiquid that time. So whatever money, the 35,000 rupees I had, that I bought Punjab Tractor, and with that money I came to Mumbai. But I had only hope in my mind and expectation or something that I will do something big. With that kind of hope, I came to Mumbai, and in 2 years' time, that stock become 4-5 times. So that gave me a lot of confidence, and maybe I realized that maybe I have found my path, that this this is the path for me, that if I can really make 4 or 5 times in 2-3 years or 2 years or 3, whatever, so that things will work out for me. And then after in 92 or something, I sold that Punjab Tractor and I bought whatever money I had. I bought ACC. So that time Harshad Mehta was not in picture. Harshad Mehta came later on. So now the rest is the history. Everybody knows about
Harshad
it.
Mehta's favorite stock, ACC.
Yeah. That
One of his
everybody made money in ACC. So that was it was not my skill. Market was such only, and everybody made money.
You
Whoever
recollect,
could.
for our viewers, if you recollect, how many times and all it went up, ACC, in that 1 year, 2 year period?
You see, I had bought ACC at around 250 rupees. Okay. So as I said, that whatever money I had at that point of time, I invested in ACC. But even after that, for 3-4 months, ACC did not move at all. Okay, so it used to go to 300, then again 250, 300, and 250. So that was the scene. So I was at one time I was really depressed because I had nothing else to survive, and whatever liquidity I had, almost everything I had put in ACC, and it was not moving. And I realized then also I used to tell everybody that time Century Enka was the darling of stock market, and price of Century Enka was 1400, 1500 rupees, and ACC was 250 rupees. So I used to tell all my friends, or whoever I knew in Bombay Stock Exchange, I used to tell everybody that ACC price will surpass Century Enka price, because Century Enka was the leader. So this is, I remember that example I used to give to everybody whoever I would meet. So for 6 months, so 4-5 months, it did not move at all. So I will tell you, it's an interesting story. So I was very, as I said, depressed. One day one night I dreamt, I saw one dream that I have sat in a train, and it was not moving, and suddenly the train started moving. So that day I realized that maybe it is something related to ACC and all, because 24/7 ACC is going into my mind, you know. So I thought maybe it's an indication that now is the time for ACC, and luckily the same thing happened. So this is how from there on ACC started moving, and I sold then after maybe in a 1 year's time, then Harshad Mehta came into the market and operation on whatever it is. Then ACC went to 3,500, and whatever stocks I had, I sold at 3,500. And from there, it went up to 10,000 rupees. So I missed that part of the rise, but it doesn't matter. It was enough for me to survive in Mumbai and to have enough confidence to do my own research and do my own investment and all. So this is how the real journey started from there.
Wow. Punjab Tractors, ACC.
Yeah.
And what did you do with the money from ACC? Did you not leverage up? Did you like roll it over into the next big stock?
Of course. I would never, that's my problem. Even like suppose in my childhood, if my mom would give me, say, 50 paise or 1 rupee, so by the time I reach home, that 1 rupee is spent. So this was my nature. I couldn't hold money entire my life, whole my life. Even today also, it's very difficult for me to retain money. So whatever money I had made from ACC, so I bought 1-bedroom whole kitchen apartment in Jogeshwari. And we moved there. Before this, I used to live in PG, in paying guest and all, in Mumbai, sometime here, some for 3 months, 6 months here, some 6 months there. So that was the thing. So that first flat, first apartment, that was some 375 square feet carpet apartment in Jogeshwari East. I bought. I was very happy that now that is the footing stone. As they say, your now on money. Yeah. I don't have to go back to now Kolkata. If something does not happen, at least I have my own house. So that money I kept, and whatever money I had, that I invested in other shares. Again. So this is how, I never kept liquid money in my bank. Maybe for 5 days, 10 days, or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Harshad Mehta was followed by the FII-led bull run.
Yeah.
Then I think there was a little bit of a lull. And then came the TMT, the technology, media, telecom bull run.
Yeah.
Where were you in your phase of life by the time the next market, boom happened, if you will?
So I will tell you, that was my own strategy, maybe bad or good, I don't know about it. But I never followed any shares operated by Harshad Mehta. So this was well orchestrated in my mind, that I don't have to buy any shares which is being manipulated or which is being operated. Because I have heard so many stories of so many people who defaulted in the market just because of operation in their own shares or something. So that was engrossed in my mind, that I don't have to, go on those paths. So ACC, I did not buy ACC because of Harshad. Before that, I had bought, and I held because there was a momentum in the market. So when there is a momentum in the market, I did not have any reason to sell the stock, and stock was really cheap. But beyond 3,500, it was not cheap. That was the froth created by Harshad Mehta, whatever. So after that, I did not follow any of his shares like BPL. He was interested in and some whatever shares. And every time then I was engrossed in my own research. There was a library in front of Bombay Stock Exchange. I would go there in that library, read all the magazines, whatever business magazines I could lay my hand on. So I used to read that all magazines and newspapers, business newspapers and all, and used to do my own research and all, and would buy some shares, sell some. So that investment journey continue. So, and then this TMT things came, as you said. So that time also I did not buy any shares which KP operated, whether it is Global Tele System or it is Himachal Futuristic, or whatever stocks. So I did not get into. But in every bull market, I would tell you that I would get one share which was really multiply. That I missed this TMT rally. It started from 94, 5 or 6 or whatever. So I couldn't make any sizable amount of money in all those shares. Like Satyam was the darling of market, but Infosys and Wipro and DSQ, those were manipulated. But somehow I couldn't make money in those shares. But I bought one share, name was Leading Edge. So that was again into software. And I bought the shares at 30 rupees, at which went up to 800 rupees in a year's time. So, and I bought reasonable quantity, whatever, again. So at that time, at whatever money I have, I would invest in one company, or not in one company, say 3-4 companies. So that was a sizable investment that went up to 800 rupees. I sold my shares in 400, 500, 600 or 700 or something like that. Then it went up to 2,500, something like this. Then it went to zero. So that was the era. That was the software kind of things and all. So this is every bull market. Luckily, I would get one stock which would multiply number of many times. So I was lucky enough.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, by the time the TMT rally is happening, you've already spent a lot of time learning, reading up everything, and you're more of a fundamental deep investor by now. Because you spent the first 10 years in trading. It didn't work out all that. It worked out, but not great. Then you went to Bombay and you bought Punjab Tractors, ACC, which is after a couple of years of learning. But by the end of the decade, I guess one of the reasons you probably missed out some of the stocks was because your numbers did not add up. They probably, it's not possible that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So would that be a correct assessment? By then you were like really you were like confident as a fundamental investor.
Sorry, could you please tell me again what exactly do you mean?
What I mean is that you were trading first, right?
Yeah.
And then you came to Bombay. You had some success with investing, ACC, Punjab Tractors, but that happened very quickly after you gave up trading. I'm saying by the time the 99-2000 bull market happened, you'd spent 10 years as a fundamental, investor. You were reading, you were probably researching. So by then, did you feel confident enough that this is who I am, and that is why you could pick these stocks or avoid these stocks because they did not fit into your model of whether they are good, fundamentally strong stocks or not, or whether they offer value or not?
Those KP shares you mean to say?
Yeah.
Of course, they were manipulated, no, because the balance sheet never justified the price rise. So that was beyond whatever parameters that time I had set for myself. And so that I used to follow those parameters only, and they would never fit into those parameters. So that is why I never traded. I never bought those shares. So I had my own thing, I had my own discovery. I had my own, my style. So I was happy about it because my style was also working. It is not there is only not one principle working in the market. There's so many parameters which can make money for you. So my style was working for me, and people were also asking me whether I'm going in the ring or people meeting me in the exchange and all. Kya lagta hai? Arey tumne ye bola tha. I bought the shares. वो तो बढ़ गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. So that used to give me a lot of courage. कि भाई ठीक है, my things are also working. So I was happy with my own thing. I had never invested in tips. Even you remember this, my concept was very clear since my childhood. Even in Kolkata days, I used to tell people that even if Birla ji comes and tells me कि तुम ये shares ले लो, I would not buy these shares. So I don't know why, but this concept in my mind was very clear since the beginning, that I don't have to invest or trade in borrowed knowledge. I have to find my own thing and I have to stick to it. And since it was working, maybe 6 out of 10 stocks were working. So this is how I was happy with my own thing.
Yeah, which is nice. Which is nice. So you mentioned your style of investing and stock picking. We'll come to that, but I want to go back to our theme. After the TMT big bubble and crash and all that, we of course had the melt up in between 2005, 6, 7. So how were you placed for that? And which was that stock? You mentioned every bull run you've had one stock which has done phenomenally well. Tell us a little bit about that phase and how
Uh,
did it go for you?
about 2005,
2005, 6, 7, the big, the sharp
the
rally
boom.
in the markets.
So that actually, that as we call it, mother of bull market, that started in 2003. Around
Af-
2003,
After the
4 it
SARS
started.
thing, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, after KP, things were very scary. Markets were closed. Kolkata Stock Exchange, uh, closed forever, and so many regional stock exchanges also went bankrupt or whatever it is. So things had gone very, tragic. So in 2003, 4, I was active in the market. Before that, I had gone to Germany for 1.5 years in 2002, because nothing was here. So I went to Germany to try my luck in something else. So I had this habit of trying, to get into some other kind of business besides stock market. So this I used to try when I was in Kolkata also. So because there was no stability in this in stock market, so I always used to try some new venture according to my capacity. So this is, I had gone to Germany to try my luck, but by the time in 2003, mid of 2003 or something, bull market here had started. So somehow I felt that maybe now the happy days are here again and things are changing for better. So I came back to India, and uh, and so whatever money again that I bought 3 stocks in those days from 2003 to 2004, 5, or between 2003 and 4. I bought 3 stocks: Atul Auto, Aegis Logistics, and Sera Sanitary Ware. And luckily, they all went 100 times by 2014, 15, and 16. So this is how it started from 2003 onwards.
So this is, sorry, Sarah, Aegis, and
And Atul Auto,
Athol. Okay. So these were your
Moon,
2003,
yeah,
2008.
moonshot. Yeah. That was a pick of my mother of all the bull market. That was, these 3 years my pick. Yeah.
Is there any story behind these stocks that you want to share? How you came about these, and uh, how did you go on to bet big on them? Where did the conviction come from?
No, Atul Auto, it was very simple, that they were into 3-wheeler manufacturing, and there were only 5 companies in India which would manufacture 3-wheeler, like all biggies. Besides Atul Auto, all were biggies, like Bajaj Auto, Mahindra, TVS, and Piaggio.
Yeah, sure.
And so they were the giant, and this was the only company. But company, I found the company was making a reasonable amount of money, and P wise it was very cheap compared to others, and it was available at maybe 3, 4, or 5 kind of P and all. And but stock was not popular. Nobody knew, nobody even heard about this company. So this is what, just going through the fundamentals, I realized that this company should do well, and economy has also started improving after 2003. That is how stock market was also started improving. So I made money because of the stock market, because of the economy, because of India, as we all say. That was the first skill, that you believe in Indian theory, Indian economy, and you buy good shares and you hold on to it. You are going to make money, irrespective of whatever mistakes you do in between. So this is how I, just because it was very cheap, so I bought Atul Auto, whatever shares I can get from the market. So I bought. And then after that, I used to share my story with all my friends on whoever I knew, but nobody trusted. Nobody had never heard the name Just to tell me, "Arey yaar, ye kya company to naam hi nahi suna." Nobody would buy. So this phenomena, so the stock was lying like this maybe for 1.5 years. Then it went up 2, 3 times or 4 times, 4, 5 times it went up by 2007. Then again in 2007, Lehman Brothers crisis, it came down to 5 rupees. From 75 rupees went up to 225 rupees, then fell down to 5 rupees or something like this. So this is how I selected Atul Auto. And Sarah Sanitaryware I selected because again in this sector also there were only 3, 4 people. EID Perry used to make this sanitary ware, and another company was this Sarah Sanitaryware, and there was one third company also. So that EID Perry sold its sanitary division to Roca, if I remember the name correctly, to Roca. So Roca bought their division and they paid 2 times their sales, okay, to EID Perry's sanitary division. And Sarah was available at half time its sales, So that was a cushion for me. That was a comforting factor for me. And there were only 3 companies in organized sector. Otherwise, there are Morbi and all other places are full of sanitary ware and all. But in organized sector, there were 3 companies. So I bought this company. So I remember I bought maybe 2-3% of this, 3% of this company I bought. So this is how I held. Again, the same story was repeated. By 2007, stock went up 3-4 times, and in 2008 crisis, it came back to my cost price. So this is how it happened. So
And you continue to hold these stocks. You did not exit and panic and exit after the sell-off in 2008.
no, because I could have exited had these shares been liquid. So the biggest factor which worked in my favor was that the shares were illiquid. Like suppose I was holding some 3 lakh shares of Sarah Sanitaryware. Okay, now it is ex bonus. So say I bought at 40 rupees, 40, 50 rupees or whatever. 40 rupees. First purchase was at 40 rupees. So, but it was impossible to sell even 30,000 shares in even 3,000 shares. It was difficult to sell 3,000 shares in the open market. So how could I sell 3 lakh shares? So that was beyond, even your expectation, beyond your mind. So I thought unnecessary, if I will sell 3,000 shares, price will go down 30, 40, 50 rupees. So ultimately, I will make losses in my whatever 300,000 shares I am holding. I'd forget it. Jane this. Dubne de uske andar mein. So this is how this perception also, built. कि वो बिकना ही नहीं है उसको काम ही इसमें होने का नहीं है. So let it go. So
wow.
So that worked in my favor.
Fate worked in your favor. You were destined to reap the riches of these investments. Wonderful. Wow. What a story.
I'm still holding 1% of Sarah Sanitaryware and 2% of Atul Auto. Still, even after 17, 18, 19 years.
Wonderful. That's an amazing holding period.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a lot about even position sizing, by the way. But let's come back. Let's come back to our again the whole time series. And now, of course, we come to March 2020, right? After the 2008 crash, there's the market's gone up, down, and all that. But let's come to March 2020. How were you reacting to the pandemic, and what followed thereon?
So during pandemic, now I was in a comfortable position. I had a reasonably good house and reasonable security I had, of course. So I was not that worried. One thing I was very clear in my mind that unless I sell my shares in the market, I never would count them that is my worth. People only tell me that this is my worth. Maybe sometime media tells me this is my worth. Sometimes friends tell me that some stranger tells me कि भैया तेरा ये worth है. So it doesn't go in my head until unless you sell that is why I have created all these quotes in my life. I must have created 30, 40 quotes. Those are my experiences only, So one of the quote is like this, that your DP statement doesn't belong to you. Your bank statement belongs to you. Or money, or your investment belongs to the market. Your profit only belongs to you. So this is how all these things came out. This is what I followed and I did in my life. So I was not, so that we're not worried about. But of course, all my shares were illiquid, even today also. So for 2 months, I thought that this world has come to an end and it is like a pralay. Everybody was, I'll tell you, I used to, watch TV and all big industrialists, you know, uh, most popular industrialists of India, they were also, they were also depressed. They also used to tell me, I don't know what is going to happen now. Things, the things were, so I thought, ki now so there is nothing in my hand. And I used to, read Gita. I have studied one book in my life, holy book, that is Gita only. I haven't read any book related to stock market. Let me tell you, this is how I am doing my own thing. I don't follow anybody or I don't follow any theory and all. So that is an advantage for me. Maybe I don't know advantage or disadvantage, but this is what I did. So Gita also tells you na कि whatever is not in your hand, you shouldn't worry about it. तो क्या करने का है, क्या लेके आया, क्या लेके जाने का. तो गीता जो बचपन में पढ़ी थी उस समय मेरे को बहुत याद आने लग गई ड्यूरिंग कोविड. तो वो 1-2 महीने आपको पूरा गीता पाठ याद आ गया कि भैया the world has come to an end and this money is nothing, just a paper. It's a digital, as it is stock market में digital money है. Every day it rises, every day it falls. It is not your money, So I thought कि चलो ठीक है, जो गया सो गया. My only worried was this, that would I be able to support my family or not. And I will tell you, Rahul, I must tell you this thing. Even today, believe me, I am telling you, whatever people tells me, even sometime, even today also, I feel कि am I secured or not? Would I be able to meet the क्या बोलता my family का end, क्या बोलता है जो भी है उनका month end का मैं कर सकता हूँ ना. Then my mind tell me, अरे of course you can do यार, ये है वो ऐसा वैसा, तेरे पे वो problem नहीं है. लेकिन अभी भी मेरे मन में sometime I also feel कि oh my god, yeah, so that is maybe childhood ka jo thing is still playing in my mind. If I have to invest somewhere, suppose 50,000 rupees, achanak a thought comes to my mind, am I eligible to spend that kind of money? Can I afford? So my mind tell me ki, yeah, maybe you can afford, so this is personal thing I'm sharing with you, but so that time I thought ki, okay, this is gone, nothing belongs to us, I can support. I realized that one thing, I realized that whatever lifestyle I am maintaining now, that won't be disturbed. And the same lifestyle I would be able to maintain, even if whatever this stock market ka jo bhi hai, demat ka whatever worth it is over. This is what I realized. तेरा कुछ भी बेच के 10% तो मिलेगा. Already they were 30, 40, 50% now. So and I thought कि this market has gone for years. So 2 months I lived in that dilemma, you can tell, or in that kind of situation. But by and by I realized things are not, the worst has happened already. Worst is over. Now things should improve for me here, because so my only job is to read news and happenings around the world. That is my only homework. I don't watch any Big Boss, Tick Boss. I don't watch anything Netflix. In my COVID time, I watched Netflix. After that, for last 2 years, I don't, or maybe 1.5 year, 2 years, I haven't watched anything on Netflix. It doesn't give me any satisfaction. I feel boring. मेरे को लगता है I'm wasting my time. I find not learning anything. So it is wastage of my time. So this is how recovered after 2 months. And so after 2 months, I sold some shares which were slow moving shares. During the boom of 2017 to 20, they did not perform. Like there was one share which went up 10 times between 2014 and 2018. It went up 10 times. And from 2018 to 2020, it did not perform at all. So I sold 2/3 of my holding of those shares. That was a big chunk. And I invested in some other shares, which I thought should, that new market, new bull market or new era for those stocks have started. So this is how I changed my, position in the market. Yeah. So this is what I did. And luckily they also gave me a handsome return.
So, which you want to add a name of a stock for this?
Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, I've said this thing on platform, Twitter, everywhere. Like I bought Tejas Network. It was 40 rupees in June, July, August, or something in 20. So telecom company. So I bought 4-5% of that company, Tejas Network. So today it is 700 rupees. And luckily, Tata Sons has bought that company after a year back. So this is luck. I am telling you, I never thought in my dream that one day Tata Sons can come out of the blue and buy Tejas Network. Who had thought? Even the management had never thought. So things are working. I think nature helps you. This is what I believe, and God helps you. Your blessings helps you. Then all these things happen.
Wonderful, great. So now we've gone through that. Now let's talk about your investing style. Talk to me. You've given us a glimpse of how you bought some of your stocks, Sarah and Atul Auto. But talk to me a little bit about what your typical stock selection process is. What is important? What is not important? I'll just to maybe prime a bit on this. Like when I get guests on my show, I've noticed, one of the fund managers which was on my show, a very respected person, he is all about cash flow. He's saying balance sheet numbers can be rigged, PNL can be rigged. What can't be rigged is the cash flow. So if you focus on the cash flow, you will come to know the absolute truth, right? So everyone has their idiosyncratic or a focus area, if you will. What is your go-to when you're trying to pick a stock?
So of course, everybody has their own style. I'm not saying they are wrong, and I don't say that I am also wrong. Tejas Network still doesn't have cash flow.
Oh wow.
Okay, and market cap is 12,000 crore or something, 10,000, 11,000 crore. Still, the day I had bought, from that day till now, in 3 years' time, it doesn't have cash flow. So it depends. Rahul, whatever shares I had bought that time, they had cash flow, but not up to the standard of any mutual fund or any fund manager would be interested. So that is why whenever I bought any shares, as I said, Atul Auto, nobody knew the name. Sera Sanitaryware, people knew the name, but it was a forgotten shares. Why should I buy Sera? I should buy EID Perry, or this is Somani, or whatever it is. This is what, same thing happened in Aegis Logistics, which I, again, 300 times, So all these shares did not have those financial ratios which nowadays fund managers see and all. So my style is very simple, and one of my quote also says that stay invested in a sunrise industry at any cost, and stay out of a sunset industry at any cost. So I'm just trying to figure out the next sunrise industry.
Sunrise, got it.
So this is what, it's very simple, that I'm just trying to figure out which is the next sunrise industry. And if I like the management, so for me, growth is very important. For me, the most important thing is not the cash flow and all, because if growth is there, if company is going to rise by leaps and bounds, like suppose if their revenue can grow 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times in next 5, 6 years or 7 years, it is adequate enough to earn to get a better cash flow in future. So this is what my style is. This
look for a sector which has a tailwind, which is going to grow. So you're already with the tide, and find the right management.
And the right management in that particular sector. Management is a must. Yeah, good management.
Let's talk of Tejas Network. So this is the company which does that SMS thing.
No. They are manufacturing equipment for 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and all.
Got it.
So so they are making those equipments, and it's the only company in India which is into this sector. And their competitors are like Nokia, Ericsson, and Huawei, and ZTE.
There's definitely a tailwind
whatever.
in that sector, because India is very early in the telecom cycle. So there's going to be investment for a long time to come.
Yeah.
There is made in India. So if this is made in India, there's obviously an advantage.
Exactly.
What else did you see in this?
Yeah. So this is what it happened, because in 20, I realized that telecom sector has turned around, because they were in a bad shape from 2014-15 to 2018. All the telecom companies and all. In 2020, when Jio came, I think the entire metrics of a telecom companies changed. And at one time there were 14, 15 telecom companies in India, which actually came down to 3 only, or 2.5, whatever people call Vodafone 2.5. I don't know about it. So it came down to 3 companies. And now after Jio, Bharti has also started announcing that they are going to they are going to modernize their things and all. They are going to invest money in their own company. Bharti has sold some shares to some foreigners and all. I don't remember now. So this is what I realized, that sector has changed, because the management has started putting money in their own company. So this is how, and this Tejas Network was also not performing because telecom companies were not spending enough. They were just doing some OPEX kind of just to maintain
Yeah,
whatever
some of them
they
were
had.
flirting with bankruptcy, right? Until the
Bankruptcy,
government
yeah,
bailed them out. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. Even companies like Tata, so many, so entire sector was in doldrum. So I realized that after reading all this news and information that since management has started investing money, that means they see that there is some bright future ahead. So this is how I bought this
It's a very interesting
Tejas.
style. Usually, I'm talking to people who are very bottom up, but you're a little top down. So, the second element of this is the management. How do you assess management?
You see, I do not buy any companies which does not have a background of 15 years. Let me tell you, at least they should have some background of 10, 15 years.
Okay.
Uh, if any company say 4, 5 years old, I usually, generally speaking, I won't buy any shares of them. And I keep on tracking the shares. Sudarshan Chemical, as I said, that I bought in 2014. I didn't tell you, I think. So I bought
Yeah.
Sudarshan Chemical in 2014. Again, 3-4% shares I bought. First time I had bought Sudarshan Chemical in 1992. Okay. So I sold those shares, but held a little quantity, maybe very negligible, but still I held in 2000 because I loved that company. I loved that management. For the simple example, I will give you in 1991, when there was no rule of waste management in India or environment and all. Even that time, Sudarshan Chemical used to spend money for waste management and environment protection and all these things because they had some Japanese collaboration. Dai Nippon or some Japanese company was there. So maybe they learned that culture from them. And this is what they followed when nobody used to follow in India. So this is how that thing stuck in my mind that
In the
this
mind,
company
yeah.
is going by the rules. So in 2014, I was in China, and in China, I went to Beijing and I could see that what pollution people and newspaper used to describe. I could see in the sky that you can't see the sky in Beijing. It was all polluted only. And luckily, I met two different people from chemical industry, but different people, they did not know each other. And they were telling me that maybe because of this pollution and all, Chinese plants are closing down. Government has given instructions to close down the plants which are polluting, and that could be an advantage to India. This is what I heard from them, And from there only, whatever Sudarshan Chemical I could buy, and company was management, so it's okay. It was done, and balance sheet was also good. Only thing was that the people were not realizing. People when P expands, when the revenue expands, when the growth comes, then P expands. So people had lost hope in this all chemical and pigment company or chemical or all these companies that they could ever rise again because there was no growth. So that was the one reason I realized, and I bought 2-3% of Sudarshan Chemical from there. And in one of my TV interview also, I had said in 2016 or something that chemical could be the next pharma. And luckily, the same thing happened after 2016-17. Everybody, all fund managers, all mutual funds, all FIIs, they started buying all other chemical shares here and there, whether it is PI Industries or alkyl amines or whatever you name it. So this is what happened. So this is how we judge a management. I observe a management maybe for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and then I get into that when the tailwind, when the situation change. So I wait for, as in Hindi they say ना कि like बगुला के जैसे आप बैठे रहते हो तालाब में और मछली आती है तब पकड़ते हो और फिर चुपचाप बगुला भगत बोलते हैं हिंदी में उसको. So this is how actually I'm trying to do. कि wait for the right time. When you think that the right time has come, then strike hard.
And all this while you're just absorbing everything.
Oh,
And you have
yeah.
this in your head, you have all these histories of all these
Yeah.
And
That
when
is
the
my
time
job.
comes, you know exactly who to go to. So I'll
Yes,
just
yes.
talk about Sudarshan Chemicals a little bit. So when you were in China and you saw that that idea convinced you that chemicals could move to India, right?
Yeah.
The specialty chemicals or whatever you call them, and you said, let's buy. So did you go a step deeper and say, it's already too expensive or it's still cheap? Or you said, because the sector is going to go through a very high phase of growth, the even if argument's sake, if the P is high, it does not matter because the market doesn't know what's coming.
So usually what happens, usually I don't buy expensive shares. So that is very important for me. Everything should be aligned together. Good management, sunrise industry at a reasonable cost. So even Sudarshan was available at a, you see, one thing I have realized, Rahul, and this is what I have said in many of my interviews, the biggest wealth in this market can only be created if you invest in a bear market. You see my pattern. I invested on those three companies in 2003, 4, 5. That time bull market was just started. And that was after this painful era of Ketan Parikh and all. So everybody was so depressed. They could never believe that India could ever rise again. Even there could be a bull market in the country. People had lost hopes. Even person like me had left India and went to Frankfurt, Germany to try something different. You can understand. I have spent all my life, in market only. And I was also so depressed. I thought maybe this market is never to come up again. So this is what happened in 2014 also. So the biggest thing which went into my favor was that I could buy those shares when there was a panic in the market. When market was in not panic, there was a crisis in the market. This is how I bought Sudarshan Chemical. This is how I bought Tejas, logistics, Tejas network, because there was a crisis in the market. World has come to an end. So so usually I do not buy expensive stocks. I buy which is reasonably on and cheap stock. I buy. Sudarshan was also cheap. Company was making money, and and balance sheet was also good, but people ignored that opportunity. They never looked at it because the share did not perform in 20 years. So people had forgotten. They say not forgotten hero. So they had forgotten the name. Okay, this company can never survive or can never revive.
So when you say expensive, again we can stick with Sudarshan Chemical for better understanding. How do you say the stock is expensive or cheap? Do you look at P's, book values, PEGs? What are you looking at?
No, usually I to use simple metrics, which is P. Let me tell you, and P, and the best way to it is best way to find whether it's cheap or it's expensive is compare with the peers. This is what formula I usually use.
It's
I
pretty
compare.
simple.
Yeah, I compare them with the peers.
And past earnings or future earnings?
Whichever way, apple to apple. Like suppose even if you are March 22, so March 22 you compare Tejas with some other company, but there is no other company like Sudarshan Chemical Company. You can compare with March 22 and then plus you add your future growth. Maybe having the same P ratio, but future growth would be different. Two plane maybe starting at the same time, but their speed would be different. Their destination would be different. So after getting into the shares, and suppose, as I said, that to me growth is very important. So this is how Sudarshan also grew faster than its peers.
Yeah, interesting. Very nice. Very, very insightful. I think the approach you've taken to investing, one way it differs is that you really go all in, because I'm assuming even if it's a cheap stock and you're trying to buy 2, 3, if I just play back our conversation in my mind, when people talk about investing, you say that's a good stock. Yes, I bought it. When you talk, you say I bought 2% of it. I bought 4% of it. I bought 5% of it. And there's a strong conviction behind that kind of a purchase. So one of our beats on this podcast is portfolio sizing, right? Or position sizing. You have to, what is the point in finding a great stock and buying hardly anything of it? So you have to find the great stock. You have to find the right valuation. And then you have to invest the right amount of money. And I think if I look back at what you've been telling me all along, the delta is you got the position sizing right. You really went all in. Where does that conviction come from? And was it deliberate? Was it like you said, I'd rather have 20 home runs in my life as compared to trying make money from 200 stocks a little bit, 200 investments?
No. It depends on whether you take 1 run in each ball or you hit 1/6 in one over. It is all the same. So I like to hit sixes only. Otherwise, I will not take a run. If you tell me any stock, first of all, I need a larger runway. I have to buy. If I have to buy 2%, 3%, or 4%, then I have to hold the shares for 10 years. Because to accumulate those 2, 3, 4%, sometime it takes 1 year. So because all my shares are illiquid when I buy them, at that time there is no mutual fund, no FIIs, no FPI, and nothing. So I have to buy it from the market, from the retailers only. So
And you
sometimes
can't
it
rush.
takes,
You can't
yeah,
rush the purchase.
I
You'll
can't
drive
rush.
up the price for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, impact cost is huge. If I buy a shares, not necessary that I will buy or I will get all the shares at one price. There are sometimes I buy, suppose one shares at 50 rupees, I keep on buying up to 100 rupees. Even they double and I keep on buying them. Whenever market falls, then I buy. So that means, so my impact cost is so huge, so big. So my runway has to be bigger than the usual runways. It has to be an horizon of 10 years. That is why I usually say that hold the shares for 10 years, because it takes, I have number of stocks, I have shown them to bull market, like Sera, Vera, and whatever. I have shown them 2 or 3 bull markets. I have shown those shares. So the runway has to be big,
Yeah.
So what was this was your question? No, what was it actually?
No, what I'm trying to understand is that uh, the position sizing,
Yeah.
the differentiating point from what I'm talking to you and what I'm talking to the others. There's an importance. Everyone agrees it's important. But in your case, that seems to be the delta which has given you this extraordinary success. You got the right stock, you got the right value, but you really put money in it.
Of course, you have to know. It's like, let me tell you, it's like love or it's like faith. Either it is 100% or it is 0%. There can't be 99% there.
No
There
one
can't
could
be
have put this
50.
better. No one could have put this better.
Yeah. So this is how I do. If I like the shares, and suppose if then I have to buy it big. And there is no definition of big and small, let me tell you. Maybe 5 kg is big for me and maybe 50 kg is less for you.
Yeah.
So at that point of time, whatever liquidity I have in my system and whatever small shares I have, like suppose one company I am having 0.5%, some company I'm having 0.25%, some company I'm having 0.7%, I will sell those shares. So I don't know what you call in your language, but I will sell those shares and consolidate my position and put it into one company. This is what I will do. And whatever, that is my ambition in life. Whatever shares are available in the market, I will buy it. Or whatever money I have in my bank, and whatever money I can arrange by selling some shares, this and that. Ultimately, money comes from the shares only. So that I will put that money, whether it is 2%. And remember, you will get the answer of this in my first, in your first question. As I said, Punjab tractor, I told you 35,000 rupees I had. There was a problem of family running your family expenses, but 35,000 rupees I put in Punjab tractor.
Yep.
So this is what it was my style. I don't think about tomorrow. God will save tomorrow. So whatever that money I have, I put it. The same formula or same thing, same method is happening even today also.
Very, very eye-opening. Now, if I was to, full disclosure, I completely agree with what you're saying, personally as well. Because I believe in the same thing, and I of course have one additional reason for it is it's too much of a hassle to track marginal holdings. If you're busy, you got stuff to do. Might as well not do it. But one of the questions that arises is that if you're always trying to hit a 6, now I'm going to talk cricket language, even though I don't watch a lot of cricket.
Nor do I.
Yeah, there you go. So where do you get the capital from? So you mentioned that you could sell some shares. So talk to us about your rules for selling a stock or exiting a position. Talk to us about that.
So I will tell you, first of all, I will tell you what happens now. Like I have a portfolio of say 30-35 shares. So my core portfolio is having, in my portfolio, I'm having say 10 shares, maybe 10-12 shares, and 15-18 shares are small quantities, maybe below 1% here and there, but they could be large quantity also, but below 1%. I have to find, somebody had asked me these questions that I'll tell you, it is not important to be successful in the market. It is important to be successful. What I would tell you in my layman's language, it should beat the time. In 5 years, everybody will be successful. If you hold any good company, in 10 years, you will be very successful. In 10 years, if the company, suppose goes up 2 times or 3 times, you will be happy because you have beat every kind of return, So my thinking is not that. My thinking is little different. I need to find a cheetah. Okay, I don't need to find a a rabbit. I don't need to find a elephant, or I don't need to find a fox. I have to find a cheetah which can run faster than others. Then only I can create wealth faster than others. So that competition is there, that healthy competition, and that is always there in my mind, that I would like buy a company which will rise faster, not in 10 years. 10 years, what I'm saying, the hold for 10 years, because sometime it happens the stock does not perform for 5 years, but in next 5 years it can go up to 50 times. So this is what I have seen, and this is what it has happened with me a number of times in all these companies. So that is why whenever I find some idea and I feel that this could be the cheetah, this could be the fastest growing sector and fastest growing company in that sector, and the fastest growing company compared to others, I sell all my rabbits and I sell all my elephants and my horses and all. All those small companies I sell. So those small companies are for that only, because I don't want to keep cash in my bank. If I keep cash in my bank, I will have sleepless night. I can't sleep at night. Why I'm keeping money in the bank? So first answer is this. And exit, this is one exit policy. If my position is small, I will exit at any point in time. That means I am not committed to it. So if I'm not committed to it, that means I'm not having a meaningful position, and I will exit it anytime. So that my commitment comes when my shareholding in that company crosses, and when it comes to a meaningful size, then I feel committed to that company. Otherwise, I'm not committed. And when I sell, I have given one example that the biggest lesson in the history we can learn from Vibhishan, that he has invested into AAA management called Ravan. Ravan was the biggest, Pandit of that time. So,
yeah.
And nobody was like Ravan in that time. And so he was associated with AAA management. But when he found that the focus of the management had changed, then he switched over, he sold, he exited from the company and invested in another AAA company which was going through a crisis. So this is, he entered another company, another AAA management, which was going through a crisis. So that management plays that role. Buy any management when they are in crisis and you will make money, generally speaking. So this is what I see, that whenever the focus of the management has changed, or when the stock prices become very expensive, like when I bought Atul Auto, that time it was 345 P. At one point of time, it was 45 P. And Bajaj Auto was available at 25 P. So it can never happen. A sizable company like Bajaj Auto can never have a lower multiple than Atul Auto. So that was the reason I sold my Atul Auto. And this is how I keep on churning my portfolio.
Got it. Great. That framework is very helpful. You mentioned you're looking for cheetahs, but in your stock selection process, you never mentioned any momentum indicators or technicals. Do you look at any of that?
No, I don't look at them, because I have realized one thing. If you will club your technical knowledge with investment, you will go wrong. I used to study chart in 1980s, let me tell you, but I never studied in a meaningful way. I just know that some patterns, some very common patterns I know. I haven't bought any shares based on the chart, haven't sold any shares. Whenever I have sold any shares on base of the chart, कि इसका भी ये हो गया, उसका ये बन गया, राउंडिंग टॉप बन गया, और उसका वो घंटा बन गया, क्या बेल ये सब बन गया, वो बन गया, उसमें I have always lost money in this market. I am telling you, this is what. So one should not focus on technical. Technical is only for trading, and for fundamental you should stick to fundamentals only 90% of the time. So I don't buy on technicals. Of course, because I know little bit of technicals, so I do watch technicals of all my shares. Let me tell you, I do watch them, and whenever there is a bearish shine, I sleep. And where there is a bullish shine, I feel happy. Now this will move this way, this will move this way. But whenever there is a bearish shine, I never sell my shares. Okay. I don't sell them.
Okay, that helps. Okay, now moving forward, asset allocation. Now you're a stocks guy, and I can imagine the answer you're going to give me. But tell me what you think about asset allocation. And I'm talking about stocks, gold, property, what are bonds, what have you. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you go about planning it for yourself?
You see, around 88-90% of my wealth is into stock market only, into stocks only. 10% maybe in real estate, and maybe 8-10%. I don't know. Around 10% real estate, and little bit in gold and silver, ETF, and a little bit. But sizable 8% sizable investment is into real estate, and that is only because so that I can get some rental income, so that I don't have to be dependent on the income of stock market. The moment I have started,
Month-end bills, so you can pay the
month-end bills. Yeah, yeah. So that is what actually has changed my portfolio. Let me tell you, my capability to hold my shares even in 2008 Lehman Brothers crisis was only because of I have some extra income from some different sources. So that is why I said कि जो होता है होने दे वापस. So that is why I had there is a quote of mine that until unless you reach to a no gravity zone in the stock market, you can never create wealth. No gravity zones means every time your expenses will pull you back. And suppose in 2020, if you have to support your family from the income of stock market, then what will you do? You have to sell shares at any price. Yeah. If you are not dependent on that income, okay, my rental income is there. No, it's sufficient to support my family. Whatever lifestyle I'm having, it is not going to disturb. So then I can play, no? Then I can have success. I can hit success. I can attempt at least to have success. It will be a 6 or no ball or out, we don't know about, but at least I can attempt.
You can attempt it, yes.
Yeah.
And you said you spoke about real estate, and this is just out of curiosity: residential real estate, commercial real estate, mixture of both?
Commercial. Yeah, because commercial gives you better yield than residential.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the yield because you have to pay the bills at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm sorry I don't know this, but you have how many kids?
Two
kids. Both young adults by now?
Yeah.
Young adults. How are you teaching them about money and investing?
Nothing. I think it is very difficult to teach your own child because there is a saying now that a child always thinks that his father is a fool till he himself becomes a father. So this is what happening. So maybe I'm just no, it's not like that. I'm just
nice.
I tell them whatever I'm doing, and I share my thought process with them every now and then. I teach them that this is how I did, this is what I am doing, this is what I am thinking now. So we interact with each other.
Yeah, they've joined your sort of on investing.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And they have the same. Are you able to see that same passion where they don't talk about I'm buying a stock, they talk about I'm buying 2% of the company?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No.
I'm sure you'll get them there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm moving on to a few more questions that I have. One of them is, so of course, during the pandemic, everyone ended up saving a lot of money, right? Especially our better halves. So let's say Vijay, your wife came to you and said, Vijay, all this lockdown, I didn't go out, I didn't shop, I didn't spend money in the restaurants. So I have this 1 crore rupees spare cash lying. What should I do? So what would you tell her?
Invest in a share.
Shares? Buy 1% of some company, huh?
I will tell you, if I give her, forget about 1 crore, if I will give her 10,000 rupees, she will go to the market and come back with maybe 5,000 rupees or 6,000 rupees. She cannot spend even with 10,000 rupees at one go. Wow. She cannot spend. So that is
So you are in the no gravity zone for more reasons than one. Let's be clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about your thoughts on giving away some of your wealth for social causes. What's your thought on that?
I have a trust with me and my wife's name, Vijay Kedia, Vijay and Manju Kedia Charitable Trust, something. So we are doing something, some medical things we are doing. Yeah.
So I'm So glad to hear that. I can feel that you're not very
Yeah,
comfortable talking
yeah,
about this,
yeah. So
but
far, I have not decided that I will give 5,000 crore like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, that I will give 5,000 crore or 25%, whatever he had announced,
yeah, yeah.
because I have still to catch up. I have 11 miles to go to to come to that
But it's
level.
but
Uh,
it's so nice that you're already on the journey. And the reason I asked is because I was not asking this question in my earlier podcast, to be honest. But I had Samit Vartak on the podcast, and he spoke about this, and I realized that it's so important. We can talk about earning money, but our viewers and listeners can actually learn on how to, maybe they get inspired and they do something good, which could be nice. So this health thing that you're doing is in Bombay, hometown Kolkata. Anything you want to share if you're
yeah,
comfortable?
mainly Kolkata and Bombay also. So I wouldn't tell you much about it because, but one thing I would like to tell you, I had read Mahabharat, in my childhood when I was in Kolkata. As I said that I used to read Gita a lot. So of course,
Yes.
before Gita, I read Mahabharat, you know, and I was very much impressed with, you can say, Karn. Okay, Danveer Karn. Okay, so I'm not comparing, not at all. Don't take it that way. So he's my model. I remember one story that whoever come to Karan,
Cannot say no. Yeah.
he would not say no to anybody, and he would not go empty-handed. Whoever comes to Karan. So this is what I would like to tell you. So maybe I will also follow, or following a little bit. I will follow
That's
the same path.
that's
That
a very
who,
nice
yeah,
thought. That's a very,
yeah,
very nice thought.
yeah.
Uh, Very nice. Okay. Pivoting a little bit. I want to spend a few minutes talking about India. You mentioned a while back about you have to believe in India, and the rest would follow. The starting point is believing in India. Tell me what you think of India at this stage, where we are. See, we've had these moments before. We've had this moment in 1991. We've had this moment before where we thought we'll take off, and we've been through cycles. A lot of people believe that this is the time that we could actually see a 10, 20 year, dramatic improvement in the country and how it could pan out. So, talk to me how you're thinking about India. Why do you think it's different this time, if at all? And where do you think we can go in the next 10, 20 years?
You see, as you know that by now that I'm not an economist, I'm not even a chartered accountant, or don't have that kind of education, or don't have that kind of mindset also.
So, no
So
baggage. So, no
no
baggage.
baggage. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
So
Nice.
I follow all educated and intelligent people like you, and whatever you say, whatever you saying on any interview or on TV, I'm telling this you from my heart. I watch all of them very carefully, and I try to extract something from them, and this is how I make my own idea. If you are educated, you will read 100 books. So what is the point of 100 books? You will extract some idea from every book, and suppose there is some common idea, then you will create your own thing. Or it's a common factor between all the intellectual people. Then this should be a truth. This is what should be followed in life, right? I'm not reading books, okay. So, but I listen to the people who have read 500 books or 100 books or 5,000 books. I'm listening to them. So whatever they are saying, I'm watching their body language very carefully. So I'm a good observant. I think so. So this is how I make my idea. Now, what everybody's saying that earlier, now all this terminology. People used to say China one. Now people are talking Euro one, or this and that. So this is what data also suggests. Now World Bank is saying today that India will not grow 7%. India will go 6.5%. Are Baba, 6.5%? Which country in world is growing 6.5%? Even 6.5% is also huge.
Yeah.
So this is how I draw my data, and get my idea. I have there was very simple formula I have understood in my life, early in my life, maybe after 2000, 2003, for something I have understood very simple. I have read it somewhere, and I have made it a mantra. As long as there is a productivity growth and there is a population growth, you cannot grow wrong in that country. This is what happening with India. In last 20, 25 years, we haven't grown less than 5%. Forget about this period of COVID and all. But on average, on an average, after 1991 or 1992, India had never grown below 5%. So you are growing 5%. Your population growth was 1.2, 1.5% there was. Even today, it is also 0.75% or whatever it is. Now it is coming down. But as long as your population growth, or productivity growth, you cannot go wrong. You have to just select the right idea. You just have to select the right stock and right management. So this is what makes me hold my shares in every crisis. As long as this is happening, as when I will find some kind of signal that India is going that in a Japanese way, for example, that there is no growth for 20, 30 years. So that is still distant. I think today there is no sign of it. So this is what my faith in India is intact.
Yeah, that's so interesting you say this because, I recorded an episode of the Investor Hour yesterday with a person called Manish Sabharwal, who is the founder of Team Lease.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
complete honesty, Vijay, all he spoke was productivity. And he said, you have to get that right. And you get that right, there'll be nothing to stop us. And productivity is a function of so many elements, but he said exactly what he said. It's population and productivity. You have the people, so you can get the scale. And imagine if they were productive, you can just achieve whatever you want. So it's like a reinforcement for me yesterday and today, talking about a similar point. Europe. The other thing that I draw from this is that your view on India is very, very fundamental. It's on a trend which is already set. It's not based on any, one news here, one news there. I think population is growing, productivity will improve, and India will do well. And even 5% is not bad.
And unemployment will also be there. 6%, 7% unemployment was there in 1970s, 1990s, even 2020. That will also be there.
Yeah.
That is why it is said that don't listen to economists and all, because their way of evaluating things are little different.
Yeah.
They are not wrong, but ultimately it's your body. So may not be some parts of your body is little weak. That does not mean that you are not a perfect man. Everybody has that weakness. So if you will look at those kind of statistics in India, then you won't have that confidence in investment.
So you shared a lot of sayings on the podcast. I will share someone else's saying with you, which is, the economists have correctly predicted 3 of the last 2 recessions. So, that's their job. Anyways, I'm so happy we got to chat here, Vijay. It's been eye-opening, and I must say that personally, I feel that this conversation, it takes us in a direction which is so different per se in terms of the approach to investing. It's sharp, it's clinical, yet it's got that element of macro and top down, which sometimes we don't come across. But the highlight has to be how you communicate, which is, I bought 2% of the company. I bought 4% of the company. So there are multiple elements in that, right? It's not just the size. You're buying a share in a company, is what Warren Buffett taught us all. You're not buying stock on the stock market. You're buying 2% of the company, which I think if our listeners and and our viewers can imbibe that, and that's a great approach to investing. So I'm so happy you could share all that with us today.
There is a quote of mine, Rahul, that if you are having a no ball in your terms, in your cricket terms, which I also don't watch nowadays, that if you are getting a no ball and you are taking 1 run in a no ball, that does not mean that you have taken 1 run. That means you have lost 5 runs. Because this is what I confirm with my son, that in no ball, maximum run you can take is 6 or something or 7 something, I don't know, in one no ball.
Yeah.
Probably suppose 6 runs, that highest you can take 6 runs or 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you are taking 1 run, that means you have lost 6 runs. So if you are finding everything is aligned, you are finding a sector is prospering, you are finding the tailwind, management is good, growth is coming, and company is turning around. And even then you are buying 5,000 shares or 50,000 shares. That means you are taking 1 run out of a no ball.
Yeah,
So that
no
means
ball
we
should
are
be hit.
no,
It should be hit across the fences, above
exactly.
the fences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah. So
yes.
that is the theory.
On
Yeah.
that note, Vijay, thank you very much once again. It's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.